Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and happy Tuesday as the countdown to Christmas is on. Legal, lawful, constitutional tender. It is what we do. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The physical delivery of gold and silver, and we do that and so much more because your education is our mission. To help you do that, we have the website at allamericangold.com. Remember, now you can order online. You can do it either way. The old-fashioned way, right? You call on the phone. You can do it online. All the same options, right? You can pay by check, by credit card, cash. For how much longer, I do not know. I got an announcement tomorrow's show. We're going to have a special show. Tomorrow, all the markets are closed as George Bush Sr. has, obviously passed over the weekend. You know what's funny is no one really liked this guy when he was president. And, there's plenty of people, including myself, that there's a lot of shade when it comes to the Bush family. But you cannot deny, everyone liked him the older he got, right? Obviously, way more popular in his 80s and 90s than he ever was as the President of the United States. Most people would tell you that he was maybe the nicest man out there. I don't know the man. But we're closing the market for him. We're making a big deal about it. The markets will be closed tomorrow for that. We are going to be here. You're going to want to tune in. We are going to update you on the war on cash tomorrow. There has been more movement by the banks. The end is even closer than I ever possibly could have imagined. And just so you know, we are also working on a big program over the holidays. So when we're off, at least in Colorado, we'll also have it on our website for you. I don't know if it's going to be 2, 3, or 4 hours yet. It will be multiple hours. We are going to be laying out all of the rules for not only how you use cash, the rules for your safety deposit boxes, and a whole list of other things. That is going to be over the holidays. It'll be something where we'll have it up on our website as well. So those of you that aren't able to listen while we are doing that, and I know this for a fact, that will be on in Colorado, probably won't be on in Phoenix, but we'll have you'll have the ability to hear it tomorrow. We are going to update you. There has been another major move by the banks regarding cash and cash deposits and businesses' abilities to accept it. Remember, what was it, last week? We had the big picture up, right? And it was from Fastenal, the construction store, if you will, that had signs up on all 2,600 locations, no longer accepting cash. So these are all tied together. So be ready for that tomorrow. Also tomorrow, I'm going to be making an announcement tomorrow that you're not going to want to miss, especially you guys in Colorado. And next week, we may be making another major announcements. Lots of announcements. I'm kind of like going Trump. Hey, we got a deal. It's going to be great. I don't have any details. The trade deal euphoria has left the building. The one thing that hasn't, gold continuing to rally. Gold's at right around $1,240 this morning. Silver, 14.55. The Dow down 200 points. I'll kind of bring you up to speed on what is happening there. And we had a Fed governor out talking, another one that has no clue. Actually, you know what's funny is he literally talked out of both ends about rate hikes and the economy. I'll share it with you. The stories that they're trying to get you to believe, really getting to the point where you really don't know what to believe. It's probably why gold is come back. Now we're right back near the top here. I got a funny feeling we're going to burst through, and then we got to talk about the bond market. The inversion of the yield curve has started. What does it mean? And what does it really mean, more importantly, for where we're headed? 800-951-0592. That is the toll-free number. December 15th. That is, matter of fact, really, December the 12th is probably going to be, that's the Friday, Wendy? Yeah, the 12th? Is a Saturday. So December 14th, my bad, December 14th will be the last day for you to order Silver Eagles for the year. I don't know yet when you will be able to start placing orders for 2019. That is yet to be announced. I'm hopeful that it may be that, that week before Christmas, but it may be the week after. Wendy says she doubts it. We'll see. I don't know. But you've got you got 10 days. 10 days for silver, and then it's going to be shut off for about 2 weeks. No deliveries of silver will occur after December the 14th until the new year. So I may get some silver, right? We may have some people selling, but no silver shipments after the 14th until after New Year's. And there's a lot of reasons for, obviously, Christmas is primary. UPS is busy. They don't want our business at that time. Having said that, we'll keep you posted as to the last day that we will ship product, your regular gold shipments. As we get closer to Christmas, we're just not going to battle that post office, but it won't. But silver will be shut down for a few weeks here, so December the 14th, and I'll try to continue to remind you. I don't know where to start. I was thinking I was going to start in France. I don't know if you've been paying attention. Riots everywhere. Right? They've stormed the Bastille, the Arc de Triomphe. They're out in the street. They're calling it the Yellow Vest. The worst riot since the 60s. Get ready. This was over. And again, the tipping point was a fuel tax. And again, everybody's broke. And I know you don't want to believe it. You don't want to live in it. But it's the reality. And you either prepare for it or you don't. It's just that simple. Why are all the regulations coming down on cash? Because they want it all in. Because they're getting ready to reset it all, and they want everybody to get a nice big bite of the you-know-what sandwich. So they're rioting in France. It was a 30-cent a gallon tax on fuel that set them off. Of course, there's a lot of things. And just like here, right? They had a big tax cut for the rich. Then they come back, oh, wait, we're we don't have any money. So let's do this. Now, they took it off this morning. Apparently, that didn't stop the rioting, and we'll have to see. But get ready. It's happening all over the place. It's festering right underneath the surface. And I think back, Ron Paul, before he left, gave a great speech talking about revolution and what is coming. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's getting closer and closer. I can't wait for tomorrow. I really can't wait. It's incredible, the changes that are coming down the pipe. And I hate to do it. Bloomberg is out. Morgan Stanley is now saying that Ford, right? We remember last time, I told you General Motors was just the start. Ford is going to be restructuring, and that it could cost 25,000 employees their jobs, exceeding the cutbacks announced by General Motors last week. Ford has yet to detail the job cuts, but Morgan Stanley says it should be larger than General Motors. We estimate a large portion of Ford's restructuring action will be focused on Ford Europe and the United States. We expect a significant restructuring effort in North America, involving significant numbers of salary, hourly, UAW, and CAW workers. Ford has 70,000 salaried employees have been told they face unspecified, it's Tuesday. It's a tough word for me. Unspecified job losses by the middle of next year. So they've already let them know. By the middle of next year, there's going to be a lot of losses. They are working through what they are calling an organizational redesign. I love it. I need to get into that business. I'm not smart enough. What's a fancy way of saying you're fired? Organizational redesign. See, isn't that much better? It's aimed at creating a white-collar workforce designed for speed. Wow. That is a good one. Karen Hampton, by the way, she was the spokesperson for Ford. I would assume that she's the one that came up with organizational redesign designed for speed, which essentially means you no longer work here. They say that the Ford restructuring on all of this is ongoing, and publishing a job reduction figure at this point would just be speculation. And I think she's right. I think it's getting slower. I think that number could be even larger. Ford is cutting shifts already at U.S. factories in the spring, and they're saying they are transferring workers to plants building big SUVs. How many big SUVs do we need? I guess here's the problem. Not that many, right? I guess that's really the big problem is, hey, we'll transfer as many of you as we can, but after a while, that's enough, right? We built enough SUVs, and all these other plants need to go away. the business model risk will be prioritized over the near-term profits and cash reserves. We do not believe investor expectations have fully considered the near-term earnings risk. In other words, that's Morgan Stanley's nice way of saying, don't buy Ford. Well, I said, don't buy Ford stock. Don't buy Ford stock because I think they think like me. This is just the beginning. Why do I bring it up? Because this morning we had another Fed governor out talking out of his you-know-what, right? Talking out of their backside. You know, what did they call it? Was it Puffery? Right? Remember the lawsuit that Wells Fargo is trying to get dismissed? Right? Their shareholders are suing the company because their CEO, not the one that's there now, not the one that's in prison, because he didn't go to prison, but the guy before this guy lied at shareholder meetings and lied on TV. And Wells Fargo said, hey, Your Honor, that's not a good reason, right? Everybody knows that's what CEOs do. It's called puffery. It's not called lying. It's called puffery, right? He comes out and he's supposed to tell you how great we are, and that's what he did. And that these shareholders should know better. Well, we'll see. You know what? And quite honestly, I will say this. I'm actually going to give them credit. They told the truth. For the first time in how long, Wells Fargo came out and told the truth, which is, hey, guess what? We lie. We cheat and we steal. But don't worry, give us your money. New York Fed Reserve President John Williams. So when you think about the guys that aren't the Fed chief, okay, this is the most important one. Why? Because Wall Street is there, right? And again, I try to educate you. The central bank is not, they don't care about you at all. They don't. If they did, they wouldn't lie about inflation, right? If they did, they wouldn't seasonally adjust everything. If they did, they wouldn't have 6 ways to calculate unemployment. They wouldn't have rent equivalent, right? They'd be open and honest. They wouldn't demand to be secret. Why do they get to be secret? So he's out talking this morning, and here's what you need to believe. The U.S. economy is going to stay strong in 2019, and inflation is going to tick above 2%. 2%. Now remember, don't forget, they just made that number up, that 2%. Right? They made that up about 12 years ago. Yeah. Well, they came up with inflation targets. And remember, the inflation target is subject to change at any point for any reason. But right now, they're at 2%. And he said that the U.S. Central Bank should continue to raise interest rates gradually. Given the outlook for strong growth, strong labor market, and inflation near our goal, and taking into account various risks around the outlook. That's a lot of accounts. I expect further gradual increase in interest rates will best sponsor a sustained expansion. Then he went on to say that he has lowered his estimates for growth in 2019 from 3% down to 2.5%. Now, I'm sorry, John. Can I call you John? Which one is it? See, because I know I only went to public school, and you're using a fractional number, so it could get complicated. But the last time I checked, 3 is greater than, the alligator sign. 3 is greater than 2.5, which would mean you actually think the economy is what? Flowing. And listen, when you think about it in percentage terms, almost by 20%.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, presenting a daily conservative pro-family perspective since 1983 and continuing the legacy of Phyllis Schlafly. Now, here's the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
Coming out of the 2016 elections, conservatives knew they would have an uphill battle ahead of them in the 2018 midterm elections. As President Trump shed light on the dirty tricks of the left, the media only became more and more open and belligerent in their biased leftist reporting. Everyone knew the media would have only one goal in 2018, to get as many conservatives out of office as possible. However, conservatives worked hard for 2 years under the fearless leadership of our president and made great strides in improving the lives of Americans everywhere. And those Americans were grateful. Results in Iowa's 4th congressional district are the perfect example of this. Representative Steve King is the personification of the true dyed-in-the-wool conservative. Phyllis Schlafly called him her favorite congressman because of how consistently he voted for conservative values in the House. This year, he was pit against a hardline Democrat named J.D. Scholten, who was so out of touch with Iowa values that he thought he could garner more support by bringing his socialist pal Bernie Sanders to Iowa to campaign for him. Liberal ice cream makers Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield even partnered with MoveOn.org to make a special ice cream flavor with Scholten's name on it. Without missing a beat, Steve King responded by singing the praises of Iowa's native Blue Bunny ice cream and using Scholten's partnership with the Vermont-based Ben & Jerry's as an analogy for how out of touch he was with Iowa values. However, the left wasn't done with Steve King yet. In a parade of deplorable headlines, the Iowa media establishment bared its teeth at Steve King. They called him Congress's most shameless racist, a white nationalist, the scourge of immigrants, and Iowa's national embarrassment. I probably don't have to tell you that nothing like that could be further from the truth. Steve King's deep roots with the conservative Americans in Iowa's 4th district was able to overcome this leftist assault by a margin of more than 10,000 votes. He won the day, proving that America will no longer be led blindly by the fake news media. Liberals, be warned. Your greatest weapon is no longer as sharp against us.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report with Ed Martin, president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. And we think it's time to take Washington back from the power brokers. At phyllisschlafly.com, we're organizing a grassroots movement to stand against the deep state bureaucrats who control government. For the latest strategies, go to phyllisschlafly.com. That's phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again next time for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
Welcome back, 800-951-0592. Oh, Jamie Dimon is speaking at a Goldman Financial Conference, has been interrupted twice by protesters. Listen, it's happening. They're stealing your money, and they're stealing your money, our money. Right? You listen to this John Williams. He's the most important guy at the Fed outside of Jay Powell. Talking out of both sides of his butt. Says, hey, you know what? We're not going to grow at 3. Remember who told you that? I told you that a year ago. How about now he's saying 2.5. He's going to be lucky. I hope it's 2.5. I don't think so. Now, what you have to believe, according to this guy, is even though the economy's slowing, the unemployment rate's going to keep going down. I don't know that that's ever happened. I mean, we'll see. Maybe. I guess the laws of the Phillips curve will again be wrong again. And granted, most of these jobs are going to be part-time and things of that nature. I doubt it, though. Look at what GM has said. Look at what Morgan Stanley said. Now, Ford saw what happened to GM. And Ford was like, we're not doing that. I expect a Ford announcement like on Christmas or New Year's Eve, somewhere, late in the afternoon when nobody hopefully is paying attention. And then you look at housing. Toll Brothers today getting clobbered. Toll Brothers blame the media, by the way. It's the media's fault that home prices are so expensive. I don't know. I don't know. But I doubt any of that. Everything he said made no sense. Everything. Right? If inflation is slowing, if growth is slowing, and they're willing to admit, listen, he's a Fed guy. If he's willing to admit it, how bad is it really? And I'm going to tell you, you've seen the signs. I gave them to you. I talked about the all-time highs. I talked about the consumer confidence numbers and the quote-unquote soft data. I told you. Classic signs of the top. And now the bond market. The big daddy of them all. Yesterday, for the first time, the yield curve inverted. What does that mean? Well, and really how, and I'll just give you a real simple example. The shorter the duration, okay, so 3 month, 6 month, year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 7 year, 10 year, 30 year, and all of them in between. The shorter the duration, the less amount of interest we have to pay. So a 3-year note should yield a rate that is less than a 5-year note. When a lower duration note starts yielding more than the longer duration notes, that's an inversion. Yesterday, the 3-year note started yielding more than the 5-year. This morning, the 2-year note joined it in yielding more than the 5-year and closing on the 7-year. And just so you know, the spread between a 2-year and a 10-year, which for whatever reason they give that significance, it doesn't matter. But since they give it significance, I'll tell you. It's down to less than 14 basis points. About 2.8 on a 2-year, 2.8, 2.81 to 2.94 to 2.95 on a 10. By the way, the 10-year broke below its 200-day moving average rate. We've got this whole thing. The Fed is raising rates. And John Williams, hey, we're going to keep doing it, right? He's trying to fix it by saying, hey, listen, we can keep raising rates. No, they're not. They're going to raise this month. Not because they should, because they're dumb. And dumb's the wrong word. They're actually very, very smart. That's why. That's the problem. They're too smart for their own good. I just gave you tons of examples. Housing is collapsing. You're seeing it. I know you see the articles. Home prices in Seattle, home prices in California, home prices in Texas, in Manhattan, in Colorado. right here in Arizona, falling everywhere. Sales have come to a stop. Now you have the major auto companies doing what? All announcing layoffs, plant closures, shift closures. Where do you think it's really going? How many retailers are getting ready to file bankruptcy? A couple dozen? Big ones. Right? I'm not talking about a guy with 20 or 30 stores. No, we're talking about stores 300, 500, 1,000, 2,000. Getting ready to go belly up. And they're talking like they know what's happening. They have no idea. And now the bond market. Listen, the bond market doesn't do this very often. It's called the inverted yield curve. Every time it's done this. Again, this isn't even like, what gum is it? Is it Trident where it's 4 out of 5 dentists? Right? No, this isn't Trident, okay? This is every time it's done it. We've gone into recession. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist, right? I haven't even slept at a Holiday Inn lately, okay? But I'm thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, we should call timeout here. But they are going to call timeout in 2019. This is why gold's reacting, right? Why is gold moving back towards the highs here again? Because the dollar is getting ready to join the rest of the world. We're not separate. I know they like to pretend. I mean, when you saw China slow down, remember, that's not good. Europe now looking. France is a mess. Germany is on the verge of heading into negative GDP. Italy, they're about ready to go bust. Those aren't good things. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. Tomorrow, the markets are closed. We will be there's a new update. Yesterday, I was notified by U.S. Bank. I'm going to share with you tomorrow the latest in the war on cash. We are putting together a multi-hour program that we will air over the holidays, Christmas and New Year's, when the stations are going to be closed. I don't know what will happen in Phoenix, but these will air in Colorado for sure. We'll also have it on our website, so everybody can have access to it. Of the progression of what is coming, all of the new banking regulations, as far as what's going on with your safety deposit boxes, your IRAs, your 401ks, your money markets, all of those things, banking regulation, SEC regulations. I mean, you name it, it's going to be, and like I said, I'm not sure if it's going to, somewhere between 2 to 4 hours. My guess is we'll probably land in the middle, probably be about a 3, because that's how long it's going to take. But tomorrow, I'm going to give you an update. Things are changing and changing very, very quickly. Remember, a month ago? When I had the anti-money laundering packet that we had to not fill out for our suppliers. Now we've got word from U.S. Bank itself. I'll share those details with you tomorrow. And it's one of those things where, listen, right? We can all pretend that we don't want it. Oh, they won't do it. They won't do it. They won't do it. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Not, and listen, because they have to. It's not worth anything. I know, and people get upset, but it's true. It's just a paper with ink on it. Backed by the full faith and credit. We got a $22 trillion deficit. Well, in fairness, we got $170 billion to go to hit $22 trillion. Remember, I was telling you, hey, by the end of the year, we're going to be $22 trillion. I'm going to be real close. I'll be within $100 billion. I know that. $22 trillion. And I'm going to tell you right now, in 5 years from now, we're going to laugh going, I wish it was only that. 10 years, I don't think cash has that long. I don't. I think you're going to get, nobody's going to take it. Just like third-party checks and the like, be prepared. The bond market is telling us something real bad's happening. Morgan Stanley out again. So Morgan Stanley says, hey, get ready for Ford. They're not saying it, but we've looked. We've looked at their quote-unquote restructuring plan. They got an axe that's bigger than General Motors. Mike Wilson, he is the chief U.S. equity strategist at the firm. So he's the guy in charge of U.S. markets for Morgan Stanley. Says that an earnings recession is coming in 2019. I don't mean to laugh. Because all these are record earnings. Did you see the profit? And of course, remember I was telling you, it was all tax cuts. The earnings were, you take the tax cuts away, the earnings weren't great. Right? They were right where they were always. And now Morgan Stanley says, we're going to see back-to-back negative year-over-year growth in earnings in 2019. Matter of fact, let me tell you how confident it was. He put the quarters. Second quarter, followed by the third quarter, and a greater risk for it to continue. The comparisons are difficult. You're going to have a massive deceleration in economic growth. Again, if the Federal Reserve's already down to 2.5, how low is it really? 2? 1.5? Dare I say 1? And you're going to have to be worried about margin pressures. See, this is the part that gets me. Right? The companies are facing slowdowns. They got to try to cut costs. Input costs are rising. Pressures on the margin. The rolling bear market continues to make progress. And there's growing evidence that it's morphing into a proper cyclical bear market. That means all of the and I again, I'm not that smart, but you had that one big year, right? Dow went up 30-something%. That doesn't last. He's now saying, and by the way, this was this morning. There will be definitely a panic on individual securities next year. Now, I don't know what securities he's talking about. But he says that he's warning his investors to be very, very careful about overpriced stocks. Listen to that. The Fed is going to stop raising rates. They're going to start talking about cutting rates. They're going to start talking about getting rid of the roll-off of their balance sheet, all of it. There's going to be a big swing down in the dollar. Gold and silver are going to have they're setting up here for a big 2019. That's where we think the risk remains, by the way. High-price growth stocks, well, any kind of stock, and expectations are way too high. I don't know, he must be a listener to this show. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. U.S. $20 Liberty. So the old one. The big one. 1866 to 1907. They're $13.25. You buy 10 or more, $13.50. Already got them up on the website. If you want to order there, you can. You got gold up, $1,239, $1,239, $1,240. Silver higher as well, $14.55 on silver. By the way, tomorrow I'm going to have a silver update as well. We just got some word. We're putting it together. I'll give you all the particulars on that tomorrow. Get ready. Remember, tomorrow's show, we got an update on the war on cash. I'm going to bring it to you tomorrow. And then we're working on a year-end piece here. It's going to be multi-hours long. Things have gotten very, very significant changes happening very quickly. The stock market down over 220 points. A lot of people now worried about this whole trade thing. That's a sideshow. Toll Brothers was out. Things are getting worse. Morgan Stanley now saying, listen, it's a rolling bear market. Earnings recession coming in the second and third quarters of 2019. That is going to mean back-to-back quarters of negative real earnings growth. That Wall Street essentially way overpriced. I think that's going to put the Fed on its heels. You're going to see the dollar lose all of this ground. That, remember now, the dollar's rallied all of this year on trade war. Really, it's been incredible. And the fact that, hey, we're great, everybody else is slowing, but not us. We're slowing now. And only the reason, let's face it, the only reason was the big tax cut, and I hate to say it, but it was for the rich people. Sorry, it was no different. Where's the $4,000 all of us were supposed to get? Whatever happened to that? 800-951-0592, U.S. $20 Liberty. Remember, these things were $20 for, I don't know, 150 years. Now they're $1,325. Where is it going to be in 5 years, 10 years? I don't even want to think. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number, or you can go out to allamericangold.com. allamericangold.com. You can order online. You can do all the same things online that you can do with over the phone. You can pay by check or credit card. You can pick up. You can say to pick up online, or you can pay for the shipping. All of the same functionality at allamericangold.com. So now 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can do everything, all of your ordering online, or you can do it the old-fashioned way. Just give us a call, 800-951-0592. So we got a big show tomorrow. I got a major announcement coming tomorrow. And then don't be surprised if next week I followed up with another one. Got a lot of great things going on. Patriot Radio News Hour, Patriot Trading Group for over 2 decades. We've been right here bringing you the news way before anybody else. Take the time. Get yourself ready